Views over morals. Yes, we are living in times whereby some things that people are doing right now, back then, would have ended up putting people in hot soup, locked up, arrested, name it. There were many consequences. But now we are living in a very interesting time in life and in society, whereby people will do anything for views. Someone will take someone's pain, someone's deep sorrow moments to create a meme, to create views, and capitalize on it if they have creator funds, which let's say they're eligible to. And even if they don't have that, they end up creating a community that of dark, I won't put it dark humor. It's so dark to a point whereby it's like the soul left the room. And people are hurting in different spaces and places. Today you wake up, you had your job, dressed well, go to the office, only to be notified that job is gone. Whether you've been replaced or maybe there's a layoff, you have a moment of sorrow, you break down. Maybe you break down in an open place or in a corner. Or let's say someone even finds you and comforts you. Let's say that person is of an opposite gender. There, someone has a camera, it's uploaded, and then once it's distributed, other people start creating different stories. But remember, someone just lost their job. Let's say someone has lost a loved one. They're in their moment of pain and sorrow. They are going through it, and they just want their peace. Someone removes their camera, view, and uploads it. Once it's distributed, different content, I'll just call it, I won't even call it creative because they're not creating anything there. I'll just call them content exploits. They take advantage of that. And once it's distributed, different storylines come, people laugh, but remember, someone was in pain. Let's say you're in your house, you're cool, you're chilled out. It's been a really rough day. Let's say you are ill or you have a loved one who's ill. Knock on the door, you open the door, someone slaps you or hits you with something. And then you realize they have a camera and they're not one or two, they're three, four. And they're laughing and they're mocking. Is that where not we are right now in the world? Society? I remember there's a time, it should be a week, 3 weeks back. And we were driving back from a place. It was a 9-hour drive. So there's a place as we were driving, you noticed many people with their tripod stands doing content. That wasn't my issue. It was where they were doing it. There were some who were doing it in the most dangerous places. There's one where that tunnel, when you come towards home, that tunnel is very dangerous. Like, it's super dangerous. But I would see young ladies and guys making content. That area is super, like, it's a place I would not even want even to have a car breakdown. Your heart starts pumping. They didn't consider even their own safety. So we've reached a point whereby we need to question, is this content or is this exploitation for capitalization? And we need to be honest. Once you like, share, or even comment, lest you comment from the context of promoting. If you're commenting from the point of saying this is wrong, well, you're among the few who's standing up against this nonsense. But if you don't, then you're also part of the problem. Because we end up now promoting toxicity. We make it become part of the culture, which is something that should be frowned upon. If someone cannot take a particular, let's say the biggest way you'll always find the meat versus the vegan, or the one that never ends. Everyone has their reason why they choose or prefer one over the other. That should be something that someone should be frowned upon, or code names, or, all the things that we see. Everyone is different. There are things you can eat, there are things you can't eat. If it's a preference, well and good. If it's a medical issue that has pushed to there, then that's what it is. But here we are, where people will mock one another because they don't align with a particular thing. And what do people do? Share, comment, and then it's capitalized on it, depending if the person gets paid for it. We are seeing people who have been taken advantage of. Let's say you went out to an event or a party. In a corner, in a dark alley, or in a spot, someone laced your drink. You've been taken advantage of. And then someone or a group uploads it, puts it up, redistributed. You have no idea. Mind you, may not even have comprehension of what happened to you. Then someone tells you, hey, I see nowadays you are into other stuff. You open the link, it's you. But what was happening? Unconsented, you are laced. And you know the sad part, it has been redistributed so many times that you can't even catch up. You can't say if you sue one, you have 100 distributed. And people capitalize on it. That's why in this so-called adult content, many people, many children, many young men and women have been taken advantage of, uploaded for views and even capitalization. It's a time for many to take a stand and say, this is not content. This is exploitation. When someone is having their quiet moment, remove your camera from them. If they have not consented to it, stop it. And that's why sometimes it's, even I, when I'm walking or doing anything, I'm very too alert. You're not even alert about someone robbing you. You're alert about the cameras. Because even if you're not dealing with like an actual camera, we have the CCTV. There was a time people were held accountable by the CCTVs, which are meant specifically to secure an area. Right now, CCTVs are being used for content. It's sad. You could make an error of judgment or something. Next thing, you're up there, uploaded for views. So at what point do people realize that we end up building a very toxic culture? People are going through pain. People are going through loss. People are losing jobs. People are losing businesses. Families are separating. Children are left with two divorced parents. Alive, they don't even know which way to go. People are having custody battles. And then there's this exploiter with their camera for views, creating a story that's not real so that they can just capitalize on it. Whether they get 1 million views or 2 million views, it doesn't really matter. It gets worse when it falls under mainstream media, who oftenly, which has become a problem, they fail to verify the information. They get caught up with the wind and then they spread it. By the time people are getting sued, or by the time the real information has come, the damages is beyond. It is a sad time, but there is hope. It takes one person to stand up and say, this is crap. It takes one person to say, I'm not taking this. And it takes a time that those people who are doing, they should be held accountable to whatever extent, where there's litigation, where there's arrest, whatever it needs, whether their whole platforms get to be pulled down, whatever needs to be done, it has to be done. Once people start seeing the consequences, then we'll have healthy type of content out there. But sadly, even most of the platforms, they sort of promote that. And so we end up having a culture and a society that promotes capitalization on pain and misery. People's private moments should be people's private moments. And it's a very sad time we are in. When couples separate, the next thing someone has uploaded something that was very private. But it's time to hold people accountable. To whatever extent it has to go, accountability has to be there. We are seeing the problem with deepfakes. And the problem with these deepfakes, they don't have a watermark. And some people have found a way to work around those watermarks either way. And so your life is destroyed. Anyone can be a victim of this camera view capitalization. No one is immune to it. Not your parents, not you, not anyone around you. But the question is, will you promote the agenda, or will you be the one to stand up and say, this is crap? Because if you don't do it, you're part of the problem. You're the one feeding the monster. And eventually, we have a society so broken, so painful, and you don't even know where to turn. Someone's private moments should be respected. And if there's no consent, Don't take your camera and press. Respect. At the end of the day, if we don't hold ourselves accountable and hold other people's accountable, then we promote the agenda. Your like, your share, your comment to a content that you know very well is wrong makes you part of the problem. But you can be part of the solution. Hold everyone accountable. Don't just click, share, and comment. Be the one to stand up and say, this is wrong. We can all do the right thing if we choose to.